Hi and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Beginner's Guide. This is part 3. So far in part 1 and 2 we've launched our first rocket. We've also, in part 2, we escaped the atmosphere. And this one we're going to orbit Kerbin. The most complex and difficult mission yet. So to go ahead and start out, last time on part 2, we were able to get some science, so we're going to see what research we're able to do with that science. Alright, so in the research center, we have a few options that we can do. We could do general rocketry. We'll have a bigger tank with that. That's great. We'll go ahead and research that. Really, the main thing that we're trying to do at this point is science, so we're going to research the basic science. Alright, we still have 20 left. We'll go ahead and do the stability just to round out. Alright, we're going along this research tree. We're moving along. Alright, leave the facility, go over to the mission control. Orbit Kerbin, that's where we want to do this mission, so go ahead and accept this contract. Alright. Okay, so at this point in the game, we've researched our technologies at the Research and Development Center. We've got our mission from mission control. But in order to get something in orbit, we're going to need a little bit heavier vessel. So go over to the launch pad, right click on it. We're going to upgrade that up to 140 tons. That'll be big in terms of helping us in orbit. We do have a decent amount of money, so go ahead and look at some of the other things that we can buy. Not necessary for us right now. We can upgrade our astronaut complex. Alright, only 75,000. You can perform EVAs. That'll be very useful in orbit. How much for the building? Oh, don't have enough money for that. So go ahead and left click on the vehicle assembly building. Alright, so we're in the vehicle assembly building. Go ahead and select your pod. We have the regular command module. Great. Go ahead and zoom in. We're going to need a few stages here, so go ahead and have a couple tanks. Going to need an engine. We have this new Reliant engine that's better efficiency in space. Add that. Add your decoupling. I'm going to go to the second stage. Add a whole bunch of tanks now. We need a lot of Delta V, or we need a lot of fuel to be able to get into orbit. The swivel, we're going to need to be able to remain stable in the atmosphere. Have the swivel for that. Alright, what else do we need? Alright, we'll have a couple solid boosters on the side. We'll need these radial decouplers for that. The decouplers shoot off and go back. Alright, go ahead and add your solid boosters here. Actually, I only had one. Let's make sure we have 2 decouplers. There we go. See how it looks? Alright, looks pretty good. I'm going to see how we're doing in terms of physics. So we have center of mass here, aerodynamics way up there. Center of thrust down here. We need to get that aerodynamics down. Otherwise, we will not be stable in the thick atmosphere. Add a nose cone to these solids. Great. Did not help that though. We can add basic fins. Add a couple to the boosters. If you hit Shift A or S, you can do a small adjustment up or down. WS, it'll pivot it. And then QE, line it up a little bit better there. Alright, that's looking good. Alright, it's pretty much lined up there. What happens when these shoot off? Yep, gets unstable again, so we'll add a couple fins to the primary part of the rocket. Alright, looking good. We'll be stable before and after. we release these solid boosters. Looking good. Center mass, aerodynamics, thrust. Looking good. Great. Okay. Now for coming back. We're going to need a thermal shield on the way back. Meter, 1.25 meters. That'll do there. That'll do nicely. Decoupler below that. Gonna need a parachute. There, looks good. And lastly, science. Get a couple mysterious goo containers. A couple of thermometers and a couple barometers. Alright, looks good. Still be able to escape the hatch, that's great. And we'll be able to get some good science. There's also this Science Junior, that's a new addition. So you can add that to the bottom. Great. There we go. Got a lot of science. Anything else we're missing? So if you go to the right here, in this case I have one too many parts. So with the current level that this vehicle assembly building is able to do is only 30 separate parts, so we'll actually take off. No, we'll just have one barometer. That should be fine. One barometer should be fine. Okay, looking good. Weight's good. Number of parts is good. Now let's go and look over at staging. So we have two going off here. We want this engine to go off at the same time as those, so I'll pull that one down. And we're going to separate these decoupling events. So first we want the solids to be removed. Add that first. Alright. So that engine the primary liquid engine will go off, and then two solid engines will go off. Decouple both of those. And then we want to, let's add another stager. Pull this one down. Alright, we want to decouple from there, so then the follow-on engine can kick off. So we'll decouple, engine kicks off. Once we're done with that one, we'll separate that when we're re-entering. And then lastly, parachute. Great, okay. Let's call this one, put it orbit. Perfect. And save that vessel. Looking pretty good. Just want to double check our contracts. Enter orbit. I think we'll be able to. Alright, let's go ahead and launch. Okay, here we are. We're at the launch site. Go ahead and trigger stability assist. A couple things we're going to keep in mind. Once we get to 1,000 meters and 100 meters per second, we're going to go ahead and tip over about 10 degrees. And then we'll slowly bring it down until we're going directly horizontal, half ground, half horizon. So without further ado, went ahead and we up to 100% and launch. Alright, there we go. Alright, we're picking up speed. Bring the throttle down to about 50%. Don't want to use all our fuel right away. Alright, 1,000, 10 meters per second. Go ahead and bring it over about 10 degrees. There we go. Release the solid. Throttle up. Alright, we're going to go to about 45 degrees now. We should have it lined up with the 90 marker. That'll be the maximum efficiency we're able to get. I'm going to hit M to check on our status. Alright, we're doing well there. down about 50%. Doing a good rate of climb. And slowly keep tipping over to get that horizontal velocity that you're going to need for orbit. Go ahead and separate that stage when ready. And very thin atmosphere now. Gonna wait till we're a little bit higher. Ideally breaking the atmosphere before we start this second stage. All right, we're continuing to climb. Wait till we're at our highest point for maximum efficiency with this burn. All right, we're pretty close at this point, so go ahead and aim for the horizon. That'll be half blue, half brown. We can level off here. All right. Go ahead and trigger your spacebar to trigger your throttle. You'll see it expand around the globe. Once you get closer, you bring it down to about 10% or so. All right, there we go. Bringing it down. So I'm bringing up my mission. You'll know you're in orbit once this is satisfied. It's not quite in a stable orbit yet. Very close. We're very close. Don't have a lot of fuel left, so I want to be sparingly with it. This other part of the orbit's definitely out of the atmosphere, so it looks like we'll have to burn on the other side of the planet to expand this part. And once we achieve that, then we'll be in orbit. I'm going to speed up time so we can get to the other side quickly. We have to get above 70,000 before we can go faster than ×4. All right, we've done it. Let's go. Wait till we're on the other side. So at the furthest point, that's called apogee, and the closest point is perigee. Typically, I think of apogee away, because it's the furthest point. It's away. I think apogee's about there. Just really eyeballing it. So we're going to want to be in the direction of travel. All right. Right there. There we go. It's direction of travel. All right. Add a little bit more thrust. All right. We're in orbit. We achieved the goal. See it go off. Great job. Still have a little bit of fuel left over too. So you can do one or two things. You can stay in orbit for a while and keep going around and around. We have no means to generate power though. We're very slowly losing power. So I'm going to go ahead and do all our science experiments we can and get back to our launch center. So first of all, we have this Science Junior here. I'm going to take a look at that. All right, keep that experiment. Close those doors. I'm going to come back with that. EVA report. All right, just above Kerbin's water. Keep that experiment. Now you can do EVA reports above any of the types of biomes on Kerbin. So above the water, the shores, the mountains, and they all generate science. So that's That's something that you can do when you're in orbit now and just keep racking up the science in that way. Very, very helpful. I could also... We're still over the water, so I'm going to keep that right click. EV airport. Alright, still above the water. Still above the water, not quite the shores. The shores is very small time, so you just got to keep hitting it until you get it. It should be about now. Not quite, almost. There, we got the shores. Keep experimenting. Go ahead and board. All right, EVA again. Once you put that away. All right, now we're above the mountains. Go fast forward. Should be able to get some grasslands. There's highlands, midlands. There's all sorts of things. All different biomes to get EVA airports on. All right, we got islands. All right, go ahead, board. All right, should be above the desert now. Got the deserts, great. Board. Still looks like deserts. All right, should be able to get Midlands perhaps. EVA. Grasslands, also good. Board. Alright, so you can just keep doing this and collecting all the biomes. But this time I'm going to go back to Kerbin. And do that, you're going to want to burn on the opposite side of the planet as Kerbin. So we have Kerbin, the launch center over here. So I'm going to want to burn over here. So go ahead and fast forward till I'm about there. Alright, little extra change. Maybe aim over here a little bit. Alright, cool. Stability assist on. Alright, still got power. This time we're going to burn in the opposite direction of travel to slow down. Alright, so here we're facing the opposite direction travel. Go ahead and conduct your burn. Alright, that should be able to get us back. Go ahead and hit fast forward here till we can enter the atmosphere. Alright, so we've entered the atmosphere. Gonna let the atmosphere slowly bring our speed down. Honestly, probably going to be a little bit short of the launch center, but that's okay. Times 4 so we can speed up this process. Actually, we're gonna want to spend a little bit more fuel, dump the rest of our fuel before we hit the ground. So we're lined up that way. All right, pick up the speed. So you can see where our path will take us. Still in orbit on the other side. All right, we're getting a little bit warm right here. Gonna make sure we're lined up. Coming in hot, obviously. So I'm going to spend our remaining fuel. Oh, that was it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jettison that. And make sure that we're bring down the speed. The physics get a bit wonky when you're not right. When it becomes a critical moment in flight, the physics do get a little bit wonky. If you're past times 1. So I have to keep it 0.1. It's like our science is getting a little bit warm, but we're still okay. We'll definitely be short. Still pretty close. It helps to keep things cool if you line up perfectly with against the direction of motion. Keep the heat shield absorbing just all the aerodynamic friction. Alright, so getting nice and slow now. Speed's going way down. Let's see if I captured that. I'll log this temperature. Go ahead and deploy the parachute when ready. Now begins the slope. I'll disengage stability assist. That's okay. Don't need to spend power on that. Speed things up until we get lower. Going down, going down, going down. Alright, go down to times 1 as we get lower. This will be our first time in the water, so we can go ahead and collect that science too. Oh, it's real slow going. Okay, I'm going to speed it up. Alright, let's get a crew report here. Keep that experiment. Goo escapes into the water, nice. Okay, keep that experiment. I believe I have a thermometer, here we go. Unused thermometer there, keep that. Probably would not be a good idea to EVA in the water. Alright, I think that's about all we can do right now, so go ahead and hit recover vessel. Alright, so got a bunch of science now. 110 earned. A little over 6,000 in parts recovered. Advanced level 1 for Jebediah. Good job, Jebediah. So that's it. We orbited Kerbin. Got a lot of science. Completed our mission. Got some more funds. With that funds, we'll be able to buy bigger, better rockets, upgrade some of our facilities. And with the research, we'll be able to get some more research done, have bigger, badder vessels. But that's all we have on part 3. I hope to see you again on part 4 of the career mode. I'll be able to get some more research, more complex mission. If you did like this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And I do intend on making more of these. So hit that bell too. That'll be a big help. Thank you so much for joining me. Can't wait to fly with you next time. Thank you. Fly safe.